What's up, everyone? Hope everyone having a great March 7th franchise tag deadline day. Passed an hour ago. Got some deals done, some money spent. Got a lot of other stuff going on too. But anyways, good to have Danny here. And we'll talk about XFL franchise tags. Got some QBs moving on. And yeah, a lot of releases today as well as teams. Tomorrow will be a week away from the start of the new league year. So Saturday, we only had one game, XFL, Seattle Sea Dragons getting their first win under head coach Jim Haslett there over the Vegas Vipers 30-26. And I mean, the Seattle offense continues to be just electric in between the 20s anyways. They've had some issues scoring, not in this game. But yeah, Ben DiNucci continues to lead the league in passing yards. Josh Gordon and Ja'Cour Pearson, the top two in receiving yards in the XFL. Really great offense. Ben DiNucci making himself look good, possibly get an NFL shot in the fall here. But yeah, 29-37, 78.4%. That's fantastic. 377 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 6 carries, 32 yards, and a fumble. Turnovers an issue though for the Sea Dragons.
Sorry, has he been good all year? I mean, has he been good in the first 3 games, or is he? I haven't been paying too much attention to the XFL. Has he been racking up the yards here and touchdowns?
No, yeah, he has a good amount of yards. The exact number, I believe he has over 700 yards, I believe, through 3 games. I'd have to check, but yeah, 855 yards through 3 games, which is by far the most. 132 yards above Brandon Silvers of the Roughnecks in second. So yeah, and like I said, Ja'Cour Pearson, and Josh Gordon, the 2 leading receivers in yards in the XFL right now.
I like to see it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I love Rod Woodson, but unfortunately, man, his Vipers are not doing well right now. Couple games, week 1 and this one were both tough games for them, close ones. I mean, this one they actually had the lead. Seattle had to come back in the fourth quarter to win. But Brett Hundley got the start once again. He's been the starter. Or no, this was his first start. Yeah. He played in last week's game. This week was his first start for the Vipers. Wasn't terrible other than the inaccuracy, 13-28, 46.4%, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns. Really good rushing day for him, 8 carries, 66 yards, a touchdown, and he had a 2-point conversion as well, the only extra point conversion of the game to Martavis Bryant there. But yeah, your former Packer there, Brett Hundley.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, maybe better than Deshaun Kaiser though.
Morgan Ellison had a great day on the ground for Seattle, 17 carries, 103 yards. I can't remember if that's the first 100-yard rushing game of the season, or if it's the second. I think we might have had one last week from someone. So I think this might be the second 100-yard rushing game on the season here.
In the XFL?
Yeah. Yeah, in the XFL.
A lot more yards gained in the air then.
No, yeah, but it's also just like the defenses have been really stout against the run. I think that's one of the other things too. John Lovett, big 50-yard touchdown reception in this one on 2 targets for the running back. And like I mentioned, Josh Gordon, Ja'Cory Pearson were fantastic in this game, especially Gordon. 6 catches, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns, 7 targets. Pearson, 7 catches, 99 yards on 9 targets. And he is leading the league in receptions and receiving yards. 23 catches, 272 yards through 3 games here. Josh Gordon tied for the league lead in receiving touchdowns with 3. So, yeah, potent offense there in Seattle. Jeff Badette scored for Vegas. Blake Jackson, Jawan Green scoring receiving touchdowns as well for Seattle. Defensively, my defensive player of the game is Vegas linebacker CJ Avery. 5 tackles, 1 solo, 1 tackle for loss, and a fumble recovery off of DiNucci. Seattle covered -3.5, over 38 hits. It was literally a tale of two totals here. The first 2 games of the weekend went over. The second 2 games of the weekend went under. DC Defenders, baby, we're 3-0. Top of the North Division. Tied for Houston with the best record. Still undefeated. The only 2 teams still undefeated after beating the St. Louis Battlehawks 34-28. We're going to do this game over again in 2 weeks, March 18th in St. Louis, though. So I'm excited for that one. I kind of wanted to go to that one since it's still during spring break, but
You should.
we'll see. AJ McCarron, though, really good day for him. 26 of 42, 61.9%, 262 yards, 4 touchdowns. The turnovers killed him, though. 2 picks, 1 fumble, had 2 2-point conversions there. McCarron's been good most of the season so far. 3rd in passing yards, 636 on the year. And I mean, DC, this is a fight, and they got what they wanted out of it. You know, Jordan Ta'amu, a lot better than he has been. The first 2 weeks were absolutely terrible. Under 100 passing yards both weeks. But you know, a lot of deep shots for him in this one. 11 of 20, 55%, not the greatest, but over 50% right now. Early on in the season is fine with me. 196 yards, a touchdown. Big thing. He did have another fumble, though. 10 carries, 22 yards, a fumble. 2 2-point conversions for him as well. De'Ara King actually threw the ball for once. Used to him running the ball the first 2 weeks, not really throwing it much. But he did get a couple throws in to offset the defense is really what it did, because they were just loading the box because they knew he was going to run whenever they came in. So, but 3 of 3, perfect. 14 yards, threw a touchdown, 2 carries, 9 yards. Not a lot of rushing for him in this one. Abram Smith, he led the game in rushing, 16 carries, 54 yards, 3 catches, 16 yards. He is now 2nd in the XFL in rushing after Ellison's big day in Seattle there. Rykel Armstead, bad day for him. 2 fumbles would have cost DC, but their defense is I'd arguably the best defense in the league. Them and Houston, the top 2 teams. I mean 3-0, 3-0, and their defenses are good at taking the ball away, good sacking the quarterback. So Brian Hill did fumble. He had a good receiving day, though. 4 catches, 49 yards, a touchdown. Hakeem Butler was a monster all day. 9 catches, 105 yards, touchdown on 13 targets for the 6'5" wide receiver there out of Iowa State. And what else here? Lucky Jackson, he had a 2-point conversion. So did Stephen Mitchell for Seattle. And Ethan Wolf scored a touchdown and 2-point conversion for DC. Defensive player of the game, Michael Joseph. I mean, he is an absolute monster on DC's defense. Turnover machine, 5 tackles, all of them solos and a 41-yard pick six. That's his second pick six of the season. 3 interceptions ties him with the Jenna Harris for the league lead early on. 3 weeks, 3 picks. So pretty solid right now for Michael Joseph and the DC secondary. I also do want to mention, though, DC's linebacker Davin Bellamy, Georgia Bulldog, of course. 5 tackles, 2 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble. DC covered -2.5, over 36.5 easily. The Renegades, this is all a barn burner. 10-9 over the Guardians. They had to come back too. They were down 9-3 in the second half here. Paxton Lynch actually played very well. This was his first good game out of the first 3 weeks of the year. Probably because the coach is stuck with him the whole game. The first 2 weeks, week 1, they interchanged him with Quentin Dormady. And then, last week they interchanged him with DeAndre Francois. So didn't really have an opportunity to get momentum going. And he really did in this one. 19 of 31, 61.3%, 219 yards, 10 carries, 43 yards, and their only score of the day on the ground. The difference is that, they didn't convert their 2-point conversion, and the Renegades converted their 1-point conversion to win the game. So I was disappointed, though, on the other side, Kyle Sloter getting his first start on the year for Arlington. They went away from Drew Plitt, who started the first 2 games. Wasn't great. Accuracy, uber accurate, 18 of 23, 78.3%. Not a lot of yards, though, 124 yards. And just the 1 touchdown there. I expected a lot more from the combo of Bob Stoops and Kyle Sloter, who lit up the USFL last year in New Orleans. So, yeah, it was kind of a tale of 2 quarterbacks. And really, I think the Guardians did deserve to win this based off how Paxton played. Just couldn't get enough points.
Yeah.
Davion Smith, he led the game in rushing for the Renegades, 18 carries, 49 yards, 1 catch, 6 yards, and he converted that 1-point conversion that won the game. Big thing for Orlando was the turnovers with Jermaine Martin. 7 carries, just 9 yards, 2 fumbles on the day, 1 catch for 7 yards. Not great for him. Cody Latimer continues to be a stud. You look on, it's crazy, on a losing team, he is going to be a guy that gets another NFL shot after being with the Broncos for a little bit there. But yeah, 6 catches, 66 yards, 8 targets, leads all tight ends in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. So yeah, he is definitely the best tight end. Sal Cannella for Arlington rivals him, but he didn't have a great day this week because of Sloter not really throwing the ball deep. Didn't have an opportunity to get a lot of yards. Tyler Vaughn scoring the Arlington touchdown there. 5 catches, 39 yards on 7 targets and the score. And then a lot of defense, of course, in this one. I think I'm going to go with the Renegades linebacker Darnell Sankey, just signed last week. 8 tackles, 5 solos, half a sack, and 2 tackles for loss.
I'm looking at here, and I'm looking at names that I might recall from the NFL. Paxton Lynch, of course, but Will Hill, wasn't he on the Ravens for a while? Okay.
Yep.
He had a good day too, it looks like.
Yeah. Yep, that he did. 8 tackles, 5 of them solos, 10 tackles, 7 solos, half a sack, 1 tackle for loss there. Guardians, the only underdog to cover this week, +8. They were massive underdogs in this one. That's been the biggest spread of the year so far. Under 37 easily. And this game was what broke me yesterday. So I had the parlay, the weekly XFL parlay that I do. I didn't publish it on Twitter this week like I did the first 2 weeks, hoping that maybe if I kept it to myself, it would change things. And it was looking good. Seattle had a comeback win on Saturday. DC won on the first game on Sunday. And then the last game Sunday, I had the over, over 36. We're looking good. 29 points at halftime. It's 22 to 7 at halftime. I'm like, this is great. We're looking good. 29. We just need one score and a 2-point conversion, and we're good. That did not happen. 6 total points in the second half was just absolutely ridiculous. And the biggest thing I had with this one, the Brahmas play calling in the red zone was absolutely atrocious. They had what was it, 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. They ran it from the 5 to the 1 on first down, or 4 to the 1 on first down. 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal. All run plays for one. That's the first thing I have an issue with. How do you not mix in a pass, at play action, whatever you want? You got to throw it one time if you're going to go for it on 4th down and you have 4 downs there. Secondly, they ran it 3 straight times in between the tackles where they weren't. So I understand if you run it on 2nd down and 3rd down in between the tackles and you don't score, right? But the audacity by Hines Ward and his coaching staff to run the ball on 4th and goal after you had already been stopped twice in a row into the teeth of the defense and not throw the ball on 4th and goal or play action. I would have play actioned on 4th and goal. I didn't understand what was going on. They lost like 4 yards because of the penetration.
Yeah. And you have Jack Cohn at the helm too. I mean, he's a former Badger.
Yeah, he didn't have a good game. But
I mean, he's not great. So I mean, I can see why he would maybe want to run 3 times in a row, but at the same time, yeah, you got to mix it up a bit. So at least anything, run to the outside. I mean, try to get to the outside, do something else. Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to get back in the game, you got to do something more creative, I guess you could say.
And they were going for the tie.
Yeah.
They were going to score and go for the 3-point conversion to tie the game. This was early-ish in the 4th quarter. I think it was with about 9 minutes to go. And then the other thing that irked me in this one, the Roughnecks were on the precipice of field goal range to go up 25-13. And they had a 4th and 1 on like the 30. I think it was on the 37 or something like that. Maybe it was closer than that. I think it was on the 35. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, 4th and 1. They ran on 3rd and 1. They ran the QB sneak, the push, whatever, the Eagles push. And they didn't get it. So kind of the same thing. 4th and 1, they run up, they do the same exact thing and don't get it again. I'm like, what are we doing? And the thing is, earlier in the game, they ran the same play, but Cole McDonald, who is their short yardage quarterback guy, he kind of did a self-audible, and when the ball snapped, he ran outside to get away from all the big guys in the middle and got like 3 yards on another, I think that was a 4th and 1, maybe it was 3rd and 1. But I thought that's exactly what I thought he was going to do again. I think he's going to run left, just run right outside because that's where no one is. But no, he ran right up the middle. Max Borghi couldn't push him over, which I thought the replay showed that he did get it. But Dean Blandino said no. So, anyways, despite my losing over by 1, Brandon Silvers for the Roughnecks, good day, 24-35, 68.6%, 278 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 1 2-point conversion. And that's the only thing too. Like we had the over, right? When the Brahmas scored their 2nd touchdown, they missed the 2-point conversion that we needed. So I was like, damn. But yeah, Jack Cohn, I said he didn't have a good day. His first 2 games were pretty good. 8 of 20 here, 40%, 64 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 1 1-point conversion. Which San Antonio is weird. They're like the only team that consistently goes for 1. Cole McDonald, he did throw a pass, and this one usually doesn't, but he did throw one here, completed it for 3 yards and 1 2-point conversion. Max Borghi led the game in rushing. Very good day for him. 15 carries, 74 yards, 4 catches for 12 yards. The Washington State Cougar there. And then John Trey Kirkland continues to be a beast in the receiving game. 3rd in receiving yards in the XFL. 6 catches, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns on 7 targets, and 1 2-point conversion. Deontay Burnett had a hell of a touchdown reception on his 2 catches for 31 yards, 6 targets there. And then TJ Vasher converted his 1 reception for a 9-yard touchdown and a 1-point conversion. Defensively, I got to go with the Brahmas on the losing end. Linebacker Delonte Scott, 3 tackles, all of them solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Roughnecks covered -4.5, under 36. One note, college football note here. Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian telling reporters that there will be a quarterback competition. Sophomore Quinn Ewers and freshman Arch Manning will compete for the starting job. It would be a good one, I think.
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, Arch is obviously has all the hype, but so did Quinn Ewers when he went to Ohio State his freshman year and then transferred to Texas last year. So I don't know. Quinn Ewers played pretty well. Quinn Ewers played well enough. If he wouldn't have got hurt, I think they would have beat Alabama. But
yeah, the last name doesn't say it all. I mean, you gotta show for it. You gotta put in the work and prove that you can be that guy. So Arch Manning really has a lot to live up to.
Yeah. Franchise tag deadline. So we had a bunch of guys tagged here, a bunch of guys not tagged also, which we'll get to. But the franchise tags that were placed today, anyways. Cowboys running back Tony Pollard, Raiders running back Josh Jacobs, and Giants running back Saquon Barkley. They are all making $10.09 million this year on the 1-year deal. Obviously, the goal is to get long-term deals, at least for Pollard and Barkley. I do not think the Raiders are going to sign Josh Jacobs to a long-year deal. I think the Giants will sign Barkley to a long one eventually. Pollard is a question mark because of the broken leg. Not sure how he's going to come back from that. So if I were the Cowboys, I probably wouldn't sign him to a long-term deal right now. Unless they want to do like a 2-year deal, something like that. That's shorter. But other guys getting tagged today, Jaguars tight end Evan Ingram, $11.35 million for him. That's a solid number for his production there. And then the big one came down to the wire, but Ravens, they have tagged quarterback Lamar Jackson, non-exclusive tag, $32.41 million. That's a solid number for the team. And another team now with the non-exclusive tag can come in, submit an offer sheet to the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. And if the Ravens decline to match that offer, that's fine. They'll take 2 first-round picks and send Lamar on his way.
Maybe
So
he'll go to Detroit.
But yeah, I think that was the right decision from Baltimore. As much as I hate Baltimore, I like to be right. And I think eventually I will be right, because it kind of shows the Ravens what they think of Lamar Jackson and what I think of Lamar Jackson as well. Because as much as Eric DaCosta can put out those statements that say we're committed to bargaining in good faith and signing Lamar to a long-term deal, I don't think that's true. And I agree with that.
They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it if they, with the non-exclusives. It shows that they're willing to move on.
Yeah. And I think there's plenty of routes that you can move on to. Teams reportedly not pursuing Lamar have been, and they've been pretty quick to come out and say that they're not pursuing him. The Falcons, the Dolphins, Panthers, which I'm very excited about, Commanders, and the Raiders. The Panthers and the Raiders are the two that stand out to me of that list, partly because I'm a Panthers fan, but I think that the Panthers are the main competitor with the Indianapolis Colts right now to move to 1. So at least that's what I've heard.
Move to 1 as in move to 1 in the draft. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, which I would be very excited about. And then if they don't draft Bryce Young at 1, my heart will just be crushed, and we'll have to stop the live draft coverage at that point.
How about CJ Stroud? What are your thoughts on that?
He's all right, but it's just the style of offense at Ohio State just historically has not shown to produce NFL quality quarterbacks, regardless of the talent that they have. The offense that they run at Ohio State is not a pro style offense. So
yeah, and I don't know if you if you saw this, and I don't know if this is true, but CJ Stroud said during NFL Combine that he looks up to Deshaun Watson and Michael Vick.
Yeah. I don't know.
Why would you say that?
But yeah, the Raiders are one team that I don't know what they're thinking of, what they're looking to do. The veteran quarterback market has been weeded out now with the deals for Derek Carr and Daniel Jones. And really the only one that is out there is Aaron Rodgers. But he's reportedly going to the Jets, which we'll talk about, or you want to talk about before you leave.
Yeah, I got to head out. So I know you're getting to that right now, but yeah.
So to set the scene real quick. To set the scene.
Okay, go ahead.
The Packers have officially allowed Aaron Rodgers permission to speak with the Jets, and they have a contingent that landed in California today that includes owner Woody Johnson. I know Robert Saleh was on that list. I don't remember who else. I would think that GM Joe Douglas would also be on there, and probably offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett as well. I'd have to try to find the list again of who all went on that trip, though. I don't know how far down it's on my Twitter feed,
Okay.
but anyways,
Yeah. So as a Packers fan, I don't know how to really feel about it. The thing is that I feel like Aaron Rodgers would like to stay with the Packers. I think but I also think he loves the game too much that he wants to continue playing it. The Packers are not gonna fully commit to him. And why would, if I was in his shoes, like why would I want to be with a team that's not fully committed? But the thing is that, Brett Favre did the same thing. And Brett Favre, as great as he was for the Packers, his legacy is kind of tarnished in terms of, going to the Jets, which was fine. But then, he went to the Vikings. Not sure what Aaron Rodgers, future looks like in terms of other teams that he might go to. But if he does go to the Jets, I wouldn't say his legacy is tarnished with the Packers, even slightly, or not at least not as much like as Brett Favre. Brett Favre's legacy is tarnished, but the thing is that I feel like Aaron Rodgers subjectively wanted to be an all-time Packer and always be a Packer, but now him maybe going to New York or another team or whatever is gonna. I don't know. It kind of hurts. I wish he would just retire. I think he's proven enough. He's a 4-time MVP. Should have won another Super Bowl, but one is all right. But I'm also excited for Jordan Love. I'm really, really hyped for him, and hopefully he can do really well. I'm just curious to see how he can do, and if he doesn't have a great season the first year or two, then obviously there's something to worry about there. But got to take a chance. So Aaron Rodgers says leave. I mean, I'm not. It just sucks that we have to watch him on another team and have to look at his stats and tune into his games and see how he's doing, because that's just exhausting. It sucks. I wish he would just retire as a Packer and be done with it.
he'll be in a whole other conference.
What?
He'll be in a whole other conference.
It doesn't matter. That's the thing. I just don't want him to succeed as much as he did with Green Bay, because he's always, he's been the team for 16, 17 years. So I get it. He's going to, a whole different conference, so it won't really matter as much, but still seeing him succeed would kind of suck. Like when Brett Favre moved to the Jets, and then doing really well, except they didn't make the playoffs that year. But anyways,
I'll say if Jordan Love does bad his first year, you don't got to worry. You know why? Because there's a man playing in Southern California right now that could be there for the taking if the Packers are that high up on the draft board next year.
Wait, who?
The reigning Heisman Trophy winner, Mr. Williams.
Oh, yeah.
The Williams.
Yep. Yeah, that's a possibility. But Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he did pretty well his first year as a starter with the Packers, but they went 6-10. I'm kind of thinking that's what Jordan Love's going to do. He's going to have a pretty good year, but the Packers ultimately will not have a good record, miss the playoffs, which is sucks 2 years in a row. But hopefully we can see something out of him. And we saw it during the regular season this past season, especially versus your team, Philadelphia, when he had a pretty good game when he came in for Aaron Rodgers. So
yeah, I think the Eagles won that.
We'll see. Yeah, they did, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it just sucks that he might. I just wish he would retire and just call it a day and go be a hermit somewhere or something. And we can have his number retired and do a whole speech and all that, go in the Hall of Fame, blah blah blah, and then just be done with it. Because I just don't want him to do what I just don't want him to follow the footsteps of Brett Favre and feel like he has to go after something that's not there, which is go, try to backstab the Packers. That's what Brett Favre did, and I just hope that Aaron Rodgers doesn't think he has to do that.
He wants to chase a ring, and the Packers are not a championship caliber team right now.
No, whatever. And then I see also in your script here that Randall Cobb underwent surgery and he's unsure if he'll play. I'm sure he's going to retire. Maybe that's also pushing away Aaron Rodgers, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, Rusty. I'm gonna head out. So.
All right, dude. Appreciate it.
Have a good rest of your day, man. Take care.
The guys that didn't get tagged. How about we go to that? So Orlando Brown Jr., left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. He did not get tagged. The Chiefs are trying to work a long-term deal with him still. The tag number was too high for them right now. Eagles did not tag safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson nor defensive tackle Javon Hargrave, both probably hitting free agency. I know Hargrave definitely is with how he played. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I've heard the Eagles are trying to get him back still on a long-term deal, probably something in the 4-year range. Patriots, their big star corner, Jonathan Jones, did not get the tag, and nor did Rams kicker Matt Gay. He is expected to garner a lot of interest on the free agent market from what Ian Rappaport, I believe, was the one that tweeted that out, or maybe it was Adam Schefter. Regardless, a lot of interest probably for maybe the top kicker. Robbie Gould is also going to be in the free agent kicking pool, which I kind of just went to there. Not going to return to San Francisco, but will test free agency. How about the NFL Scouting Combine? We already told you our winners from day one on Friday. Now, we had 3 more days of testing there. I didn't get to watch all of it, unfortunately, but I did watch a bunch of it. So I think from the 3rd day was defensive backs. So corner, I can't really think of who had a good day. I know Nick Jones continued to look pretty good, the corner from Ball State. I liked him at the Senior Bowl. He had a pretty solid combine as well. 20-yard shuttle, which was actually one of the slowest corner times there. 40 wise, DJ Turner Blazer from Michigan, 4.26 was crazy. The Maryland guys ran fast to Jacorian Bennett, 4.3 flat. Deontay Banks, 4.35. Keely Ringo, I thought looked pretty good. Christian Gonzalez, Joey Porter Jr. looked fantastic. 4.46 he ran, a lot slower than what he thought. He thought he was going to run in the 4.3s, but I thought he looked really good during on-field drills. Just has to get the ball production up in the NFL. As far as vertical, Deontay Banks from Maryland, he had the highest of the corners, 42 inches there. Julius Brents from Kansas State was also a workout warrior, had a lot of great times in measurements there. The other guys, like I said, I didn't think Joey Porter Jr., Nick Jones, I didn't think really a lot of other corners stood out to me. Julius Brents had the longest broad jump, 11.6 for the cornerbacks. Again, the Maryland corners all up there in that. And moving on to the safeties here. Safety-wise, who had a good day? Brandon Hill led the safeties in the 44.43. Daniel Scott, I was shocked. 4.45 for him. He has track speed there for the safety from Cal. Sidney Brown looks good. Illinois safety there. And also Jamie Robinson, I thought was good during on-field work. Have to look at the verts here. Jartavius Martin, the other Illinois safety there, 44-inch vert, crazy. His teammate Sidney Brown there, 40.5-inch vert as well. So really solid numbers there. So yeah, I think my safety guys are Jamie Robinson, Jartavius Martin also leading these safeties in broad jump, 11-1 there. Just 2 3-cones. That's kind of crazy. Not many short shuttles either. But yeah, I thought Sidney Brown was really good, as well as Jamie Robinson from Florida State. The next day on Saturday, that's when the big people were out. Quarterbacks, running backs, or quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends here. So quarterback, how about Anthony Richardson? Had a great day, 4.43 in the 40. Just electric there. And then he went out and did a 10.9 broad jump and a 40.5-inch vert, which is something quarterbacks should just not be able to do there. So he killed it. I thought his stock really lit it up, flew up here. And other than him, Stetson Bennett. I mean, I might be impartial because I went to Georgia, but Stetson was absolutely great, especially when they had the vertical deep shots. I wish he would have been able to be in the group with Will Levis, with CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson, because he was in the group with Will Levis, but I think that he would have shown out against CJ Stroud there. So Stetson, I thought, had a really good day. And a lot of other people think Stroud had a good day too. So yeah, kind of Richardson 1, Bennett 2, and Stroud 3 for me in terms of days, how their days went there. Wide receiver wise, I don't think I noticed anyone. Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee had the longest broad at 11.3. Vertical was a tie between West Virginia's Bryce Ford Wheaton and SMU's Rashee Rice. And then 44.33 for Trey Palmer from Nebraska. He led the way there. Zay Flowers, I thought, had a good day. Boston College, 4.42 40. His measurements were a big thing there. 5'9", 182. So really small there. But also want to mention Bryce Young. He got his measurements in 5'10", 204. Really good weight for him. 5'10" is whatever. But yes, that is a solid weight, because that was the big thing people were worried about, his durability. But anyways, back to the wide receivers here. Zay Flowers was a guy I thought had a pretty solid day. I don't think I really saw much else. Jordan Addison had some nice catches as well. And just running through the list here of other wide receivers. In the vertical, or no, I already mentioned that. Yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba, I didn't notice too much, but Zay Flowers is probably my wide receiver there. Tight ends was easy. Tight ends was very easy. So Will Mallory, Miami, he led the tight ends in 44.54. Vertical, Zach Kuntz from Old Dominion, 40 inches. That was very good time there. Very good number there. And then Zach Kuntz also in the broad jump, 10-8 broad jump was the best for tight ends. But the tight end that won was Darnell Washington. I mean, this is easy. 6'7", 264, 34 and 3/8 arms, 11-inch hands. That is crazy. 4'6", 40, 157, 10-yard, 31-inch vert, 10-2 broad, 408, 20-yard shuttle, and then 21 on the bench. All very solid numbers. There were 2 instances where I saw that Darnell won the tight end group. First off, his ridiculous one-handed grab at the end of their day on the fade routes. Even though he didn't get both feet in, it was still a hell of a play. And the other one was the ease that he blocked the sled and pushed it. It was funny. Someone posted a video of Darnell Washington blocking the sled. And then the other tight end, a couple other tight ends after him. And it wasn't even close. Darnell just moved, pretty much picked the whole thing up and just slid it so easily and gracefully. The other tight ends couldn't do that. And then Sunday we had the offensive line and running backs. So broad jumps for the O-line. Blake Freeland, BYU, 10 feet. Very solid. He also had the vertical record, 37 inches there. 40, 497, Broderick Jones, Georgia, which I thought he had a fantastic day. Blake Freeland got the 168 10-yard split, which is the most important for the offensive line, seeing as they don't have to move that far on most plays. But yeah, as far as offensive line, I thought Broderick Jones had a fantastic day. I kind of wish I would have seen Peter Skoronski more, but I just didn't. Jalen Duncan, I heard Daniel Jeremiah talking about him a bunch. And who else? Cody Mock. Cody Mock, I thought, had a pretty good day there. North Dakota State guard, tackle guard hybrid. Darnell Wright looked very good, the right tackle out of Tennessee. And I don't think there was anyone else. Yeah, but my biggest guy was Broderick Jones. I thought he looked very good, putting his hat into the ring to be the number 1 tackle off the board. I think they're varying. There's not a consensus top tackle, just like there's not a consensus top tight end. So I think Broderick Jones had a very good day and should be able to definitely going to be in the first. It's got to see what order the tackles go in there. Running backs, it was easy. Bijan Robinson had a great day. Devin Achane there, 4.32. He led the running backs in the 40. Vertical, Chase Brown, Illinois, 40-inch vert. And then broad jump, Chase Brown also 10'7". But the day was Bijan Robinson's to lose, 4.46 40. Measuring 5'11", 215, 31 1/8 inch arms, 9 3/4 inch hands. Mentioned 4.46 40, 152 10-yard, 37-inch vert, 10.4 broad jump. I mean, those are very solid numbers, and he just did everything to supplant himself as that number 1 running back. There was no question, and the confidence was there, which I like to see in a prospect. So as long as his meetings went well with teams, I think there's no question he's the first running back off the board, whether that be in the first round or the early second round this year. I thought Evan Hall was a very good pass catching option. He's kind of a little bit bigger, at least that's what it looked like when I watched him at Northwestern. Actually not bad. 5'10", 209. So yeah, but his receiving prowess looked very good during the on-field workouts. I was not impressed, however, with another Georgia guy here, Kenny McIntosh. He just did not wow me. So maybe that says something, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But yeah, he just did not look that great. I thought Deuce Vaughn looked pretty good in the receiving drills as well. That's kind of what I expect him to be at the next level. So yeah, couple guys, Bijan, Evan Hall, Deuce Vaughn there, Kansas State. It was a good combine overall, and I'm excited to move on to pro days and the draft in April. March 31st, we will be starting our mock draft series, divisional mock drafts. So I'm excited about that as well. Other general news here, the Rams have given wide receiver Allen Robinson permission to seek a trade. LA is willing to possibly pay some of his $15.25 million guaranteed salary for that as well. So, going to get a higher draft pick the more salary you retain, which would be interesting for LA. But yeah, they're trying to move cap space, and as reported, Jalen Ramsey could be gone, and a couple other guys as well, as we'll get to. But the NFL, they have reinstated Jaguars wide receiver Calvin Ridley yesterday, the first day he could file, and they reinstated him yesterday. So it'll be interesting to watch that Jaguars offense. Calvin Ridley, Evan Ingram back in the fold for another year. You got Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones, Zay Jones, and of course Travis Etienne. So that's going to be a crazy offense to watch for sure. Trevor Lawrence has a lot of options. The NFL released their team adjusted cap numbers. So that includes rollover cap, incentive payouts, and whatnot. So the Cleveland Browns have the highest adjusted cap number, $771,834. The cap number, is a 224.8, if I am correct there. But I'd have to make sure that that is correct. Just want to check to make sure that's the right number. If I can find if I could find the right tweet anyways. But yeah, 224.8 is the cap number. So these adjusted caps, they include incentives, roster bonuses, carryover cap space, and other stuff. So yeah, the Browns have a lot of rollover, I would assume, and didn't have to pay much out in incentives and stuff like that. The Chiefs, however, did have to pay. So $220,447,793, the lowest number there. My teams, one's at the top. Eagles or actually the Panthers have the second most. A lot less than the Browns, though, 238 million and change. And the Eagles are fifth there. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in the middle. in the 229 range with a lot of other teams. Anyways, we already mentioned the Packers. I think Aaron's going to the Jets, and it's not going to be a big fiasco. I don't even know what the trade would look like, but I think it's going to be fine. And Packers fans, you will be okay. It's not the end of the world. Transition had to happen some point, and it's going to happen right now. So, yeah. Danny also mentioned the Packers wide receiver Randall Cobb. He underwent surgery to clean out the back of his ankle. Unsure if he's going to play in 2023. Like Danny said, I would think that he's going to retire as well, especially if Aaron moves on. So, we might have seen the last of Randall Cobb. Couple combine injuries. Oklahoma offensive tackle Wanya Morris. He suffered a grade 2 hamstring strain while running the 40. He's going to be out about 3 to 4 weeks. So puts his pro day in question for March, but should be okay by the time private team workouts come around in April. So hoping the best for Wanya. Also hoping the best for USC offensive lineman Andrew Voorhees. He tore his ACL during on-field combine drills. And then crazily, he came back the next day to do the bench and repped out the most of the combine at 38 reps of 225 pounds, which is ridiculous on one leg, mind you. So, yeah. That's a beastly move. That shows what he wants, how much he wants it. So, hoping the best for Voorhees. Probably going to hurt his draft stock a little there with not being able to play this entire season. But yeah, that's what happens sometimes. Just injuries. One cap move to note: the Saints trying to get under the cap still. They restructured the contracts of linebacker Demario Davis and tight end Taysom Hill, $12.724 million in cap space savings there, and they used that to get their quarterback. The Saints signed quarterback Derek Carr to a 4-year, $150 million deal, $100 million in guarantees, $70 million of that fully guaranteed. No trade clause included as well. So very solid deal. I don't think many people have an issue with it. So, and I agree. I think Derek Carr is worth that money. He just has not had the team around him that he needs. Maybe the Saints aren't that team either, but there's a winnable division to make the playoffs every year, that 4-year deal. So, yeah, the Saints have the best quarterback in the division right now, for sure. The Giants also beat the franchise tag deadline by signing their quarterback, Daniel Jones, to a 4-year, $160 million deal, $82 million guaranteed, $195 million max. So $35 million in incentives there. It's a lot of money, $40 million per year for Daniel Jones. I don't agree with it, but that's the Giants' prerogative. Obviously I'm an Eagles fan, so that's fine if they want to pay Daniel Jones $40 million. Jalen's gonna be above that now, which is kind of scary, but $82 million over the first 2 years, $94 million virtually guaranteed at signing. First year cap number around $19 million, so cap friendly this year for New York anyways. Seahawks, they signed their quarterback as well. It's just quarterback signing palooza. Geno Smith getting a new deal with Seattle, 3 years, $105 million, $40 million fully guaranteed there. 72 million or 75 million base, essentially. 3 years, 75 million, 105 million max. Team friendly-ish deal. And, for a guy that has won really solid season in his career. Makes sense that type of deal for the team and for Geno. So reigning comeback player of the year as well. The Falcons, they re-signed a key player on their defense, linebacker Lorenzo Carter. They re-signed him to a 2-year deal. So good to see him back in Atlanta. And then the Broncos, they signed wide receiver Lil Jordan Humphrey to a contract. So Sean Payton reunited with Humphrey there, known from his time in New Orleans. Gonna get some familiarity on that offense. Releases. So a lot of teams cutting, trimming the fat, essentially, cutting big salaries here. The Vikings, they released linebacker Eric Kendricks, forms a solid duo with TJ Edwards in the free agent off-ball linebacker club. The Rams expected to release linebacker Leonard Floyd if they can't trade him. So just another key big piece for LA that they're trying to sell off. They will save $3 million in cap savings, but they'll have a $19 million dead cap hit. If they designate him as a post June 1st release, they save $15.5 million, $6.5 million in a dead cap hit for 2023. They can spread the 19 million over 2023 and 2024. Another outside linebacker being released, the Titans releasing linebacker Bud Dupree at the start of the new league year. So another veteran outside backer there. His production's kind of dipped, not like Floyd. Floyd has been steady through his last 3 years, but Dupree's kind of dipped with injuries hitting him. With the Derek Carr signing, the Saints likely to release quarterback Jameis Winston, $4.4 million in cap savings and $11.2 million in dead cap hit, but a post-June 1 designation would get a $12.8 million cap savings there. So likely the case with Jameis Winston. Cardinals, they are going to release center Rodney Hudson, which likely he's going to retire anyways, lowered his cap number to $2 million earlier this offseason. They're also going to release wide receiver Robbie Anderson, who they just traded for last year. So kind of crazy there how far he has fallen off the radar. $12 million cap savings with those two combined off the books. The Chiefs, they're releasing defensive end Frank Clark. Third all-time in postseason sacks is Frank Clark. So 2-time Super Bowl champ with the Chiefs there. And going to look for a new team as they couldn't come to a new deal. The Dolphins, they are going to release corner Byron Jones, a massive free agent addition a couple years ago, has not worked out in Miami. Post-June 1 release, he is being designated as $13.6 million in cap savings for Miami. And finally, the Bucks, they have released left tackle Donovan Smith. It's a new day in Tampa. A lot of turnover there, trying to get under the cap. So Donovan Smith, a free agent, has dealt with a couple different injuries the last couple of seasons. Next week, next Tuesday, we'll be back. We'll be talking XFL Week 4 game recaps there. We won't have anything special. I don't think. It will be spring break, so we'll see if we have a Friday show next week. But definitely should have a Tuesday show. I'll be here in Milwaukee still, anyways. So yeah, XFL Week 4. Look for that this coming weekend. And don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, at FAA_bets on Twitter as well. And then FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Thank y'all, and we'll see you back for Football Friday.